when books have these little strings in there so you can keep. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in the northeast of the United States. This is Kunshab Tarduling, also known as the Tibet Center, a Buddhist Meditation and Study Center located in northern New Jersey. And normally we're in Manhattan also, but temporarily we're looking for new space. We're under the direction of Chabje Ling Rinpoche and Rato Kensa Tupten Lunda, also known as Geshe Niki Vreeland. This is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. We now meet Monday night and Wednesday night. The Tuesday night is gone because that was the only night we can get in the city. So we're shooting for Monday and Wednesday. Again, this is the old schedule from the Pleistocene year, I don't know, whenever it was, a long time. If there's anyone who has passed away recently, and you wish us to mention them when we say the Sutra of Recollection of Three Jewels, put their name in the chat box. Their names, plural. There's more than one. All the prayers we say are on the website. In the FAQ section, scroll down to prayers. So we'll start. Prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering, should be known as truth, for there is no deception. in transcendent knowledge. The mantra is proclaim, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. Oshariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, mahasattva, should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering and world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. So refuge and bodhisattva vow, or generating bodhicitta as its title, we say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Darren, could you do me a favor and let me know when it's 5:07? Anybody? Because I have I left my phone at home, and I'm a freak for the time, so he'll tell me. So anyway, we have a lot of fun tonight as the moose-bouche, or the hors d'oeuvre, or what do you want to call it? The Tibetan Book of Everyday Wisdom, part of the, what is it called? The Library of Tibetan Classics, edited and translated for the most part by Thupten Jinpa. These are little sayings, little colloquial things that set your mind up to consider certain things you may not have considered. And it's in the classic, old-fashioned, what's the word? Wise sayings or aphorism style. A few lines that give you thinking, what happened to me? Did I take the thing? No, here it is. It's one of these books with a classic little string to mark the page. Isn't that nice? Big deal. And this is a section called A Treatise on Trees by Gungtang Tempe Dronme. He's been around a long time. Well, he's gone now, but this, I don't know, maybe 1200, something like that. I have to look him up. So there's 4 verses in a row with little things comparing the idea of a tree, and that's something you'll remember tree as an image, and then you'll think these little thoughts. They're very clever, Before advertising, they were there. So the first, I won't read them all because it goes on, and we don't want to take time away from our main event. But opening for the Dalai Lama is Gungtang Tempe Dronme. May there be true happiness. I bow to Buddha, a wondrous tree. The root of your precious mind is firm. Your 2 magnificent collections are expansive branches, collection of wisdom and merit, of course, everyone knows this, bending under the excellent ripe fruit of the 3 bodies. That's this Sanskrit poetry conceit where they carry out the metaphor like that. For yogis to whom every perception appears as metaphor, a little key word as to how they write, there is an abundance of spiritual instruction. In clearings within densely forested valleys, there is no end to the masses of leaves. Anybody wants to comment? No, there is an end to the masses of. Okay, we'll argue. When you depend on a wish-granting tree, everything you need and desire showers down like rain. Similarly, when you rely on a holy spiritual friend, the excellent collections are completed naturally. Verse 4. A person who has no respect for his teachers may know 100 texts, but they will be of no use. A dry branch may be put in water and left for 100 years, but it can never sprout leaves. So you better prepare the surface, your mind, and have respect. Even just a single verse will benefit someone with faith and a good nature. Even just a sprinkle of rain causes a tree seedling to flourish. It's very nice, very sweet, painless, easy to understand. Thorn bushes and poison plants are unwanted but cover the ground. Those born in lower rebirths, bereft of freedom, are beyond count, like particles of earth. Puts our lives in perspective. And you're familiar with the woods. A white sandalwood is a wondrous tree. To find one in the world is mere chance. An excellent life with complete leisure and fortune is found once in a million. This just cannot be denied. If you do not extract the essence of being human, your life is no different than that of an animal. If you do not taste the fruit of the mango tree, how is it different from a castor oil bean? You don't know the difference between the two. You never tasted it, so how can you compare it to a castor bean or something like that? That's what I take. Don't never mind what I say. It's not the gospel.
If you're an animal and you've always lived the life of an animal, you have no frame of reference for what the wondrous life of a human is like? Is that the idea?
No, if you act without taking the essence of being human, in other words, come in contact with the Dharma, the vehicle for freedom from the samsaric realm, well, it's no different than an animal because the animal just lives, eats, doesn't think of its situation. If you don't taste the fruit of the mango tree, how's it different from the castor oil bean? In other words, you never looked into the Dharma, so you know nothing about it. I'm thinking. This is my opinion. Never mind. What do I know? I'm still in samsara with espresso. Cheers. By the way, the espresso in your place is excellent. It's Colombe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good.
Thank you.
The hell of the cake. No, that's very good. The color, leaves, fruit, flowers, and so forth of even a single plant change over time. You know what's coming. The drama of birth, aging, sickness, and death changes moment by moment. So we're in a state of flux all the time. We're in a kinetic state. Leaves may be on a tree for a long time, but once scattered, they cannot be rejoined. Lovers may have been together for a long time, but one day they will part forever. I could testify to that, Your Honor. Chopping, cutting, and sawing a tree quickly tires out a woodsman. Even though they work for eons, the Hell Guardians never get tired. Ooh. So you always have these people to worry about. They're not going to wear out. Until you have eliminated non-virtue, you will experience misery without cease. As long as there are poisonous seeds, poisonous leaves will grow. It's a natural law. It makes sense? In the woods of Washington, make more sense, I think. Someone who goes to refuge to the three jewels is not enervated by samsara or nirvana. A person who takes shelter up a large tree cannot be harmed by vicious carnivores. That makes sense. Although cougars operate in high trees, right? Yes. No? Maybe?
Is them? Bears can chase you?
Bears can chase you up a tree? I'm staying here. I'm never... Sheltering under a tree with rotten roots is a sign of being a fool. Alas, those who take refuge in people who are sunk in samsara are deluded. All you guys who voted... never mind. Verse 15. We'll do 2 or 3 more, because Darren, what is it, about 10, 15 minutes in already?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm such a robot. Good, all right, we'll do 3 or 4 verses. There is never confusion about the fruit grown from poisonous and medicinal seedlings. It is impossible for virtuous and non-virtuous actions to give rise to each other's result. That's a big one. a virtuous action always gives a positive result and it never changes. Non-virtuous, you'll get a negative result. So if you recognize you did something, confess it so you attenuate its power. Karma accumulated since beginningless time does not wither away even after 100 eons. A palm seed may be dry for 100 years, but it will grow if it comes in contact with moisture. So the deeds, when they meet conditions, they will ripen, both positive and negative karma. So what they do is try to generate the causes for these good deeds that they've had to ripen. One way is to congratulate yourself when you do good deeds. This is good, and remember it the next day and the next day. Makes it stronger, so it'll meet conditions quicker. A banyan tree matures from a tiny seed. I don't know what a banyan tree is. Is that the one that spreads out big? I guess yeah. So a banyan tree matures from a tiny seed into a leaf canopy spreading over a league. The result obtained by giving just a morsel of food can be to become a universal monarch. That's the big thing about the expansion of karma. You do a little thing, and only an omniscient Buddha can tell you exactly. You gave this guy, a Kittle bar or something, and 100 years from now you're going to be king of France or something like that. No one except the omniscient Buddha, full Buddha, can understand the intimacy of karma. The general idea is, yes, we know that. That's it. One more will do. The gorgeous things here in cyclic existence have not a bit of meaningful essence. A plantain tree trunk is suffused with water, but has no core anywhere from top to bottom. So that's a little taste. From time to time, we'll go to these little. Tibetans are fond of these things. A lot of great yogis write them, because they know it helps. First of all, Tibet was basically an illiterate society, so people needed a little morsel and to wake up their memory with something that's familiar to see, and then take advice from it. That's why tankas were so popular. You tell the whole story from the tanka, because only the nobles and the clergy, the ordained, could read in Tibet. Rinpoche told me that it just didn't bother. Oh, no. All right, thank you very much. No, I may make off with it. Watch out. We'll pick up where we left last night. We're on the chapter called Foundation of Happiness from this great book, the 14th Dalai Lama's Stages of the Path. This is continuing the secular ethics approach to presenting the Dharma. So it's always mentioning you don't have to be Buddhist, this or that. Very, very good. It was compiled by Dayap Chabjan Rinpoche, who's been at the Tibet Center a couple of times. He lives in Germany. He's 84 years old now. I didn't know he was that old. He gave his age out. And Gavin Kilty, one of the great translators, did the work. So it's very well put together. It's an easy read. I'll skip back to page 44 because some of you weren't here. Just a quick definition, the importance of compassion. He gives you a definition of compassion. The central meaning of compassion is an attitude that wishes to end the sufferings of others and to augment their happiness. In that sense, it carries a feeling of affection for others and a sense of responsibility. So that's a big point. That's on. Oh, you have the book?
Yeah, Amazon sent a free delivery overnight, and it's 40% off right now.
Hey,
Yeah.
boys and girls, take note. He gave a copy, and Lavinia has it at home, so I thought she'll have to bring it back eventually. Let's see. So anyway, let's pick up from where we left off last night. So remember that definition. The main destroyers of, this is mid-page, page 45. 45, you got it? Mid-page, the main destroyers of compassion are anger and hatred. Feel free to comment, complain, whatever. Write your own, we need, whatever, we need participants. So these are powerful feelings, and at times they come and take over our minds. Now we can reflect on our own life. Yes, they do at times. And you blow up, and you lose your job, whatever. These are powerful feelings. However, we do have the ability to move them away. We should never feel that we're not empowered. We're making noise or alive. We have the ability to change the situation. Don't be a slave to your mind. However, we do have the ability to move them away. It is never the case that we have no power right now to begin such a practice or that we can make no progress. Okay? If we have a firm basis in our minds, external pressures and inner emotions such as jealousy and anger cannot have much negative influence upon us. So we should think about external pressures, yes, and then our inner emotions, the outer enemy, the inner enemy. Be aware of both fronts. We're fighting a two-front war here, guys. That's true. We should think hard about whether anger and so on is something of value we should hold on to. So what good is anger? Benefits, faults? He's going to flesh this out a little. Sometimes when we lose our strength of mind, it seems that anger gives us the ability to be confident and decisive. That's an illusion. Why? But if we look carefully, he says, as Dalai Lama talking, we can see that anger robs the brain of its greatest quality, the ability to think rationally. And one psychiatrist, who was it? That the Dalai Lama says, when you're angry, you lose 90% of your judgment. And most of the projection that you're angry at is false. It's coming from you. It's not that person. Who's that? Ekman? I think Ekman. Well, he's gone now, but he's not a Buddhist, but he came to the same conclusion. Anger induces a blind emotion that prevents us from knowing if the result will turn out for the good or not. The power of anger is not to be trusted. His Holiness often says anger is not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness, that you're frustrated, you haven't figured out reality, and you don't know what to do. So you blast, It encourages us, anger does, to act like a madman or madwoman, doing things that only hurt ourselves and others. We need a state of mind with a power that is equal to or greater than that of anger, that will exercise control over the mind and can be developed. May not have it now, but it can be developed. So you immediately set up your, plus false tables. And what's the benefit of anger, the faults of anger, like a business person does, cost benefit analysis, something like that.
Pretty hard to do that in the moment, though.
Oh, yeah. Positively. All this is like, this information is like a virus. You take, I can't mention that again, right? Because YouTube called me out for mentioning viruses.
Oh.
You're giving medical advice. It's stupid. It's like a preventative measure. It doesn't work at the time of the attack, but eventually builds you up so the attack never occurs, or it just bounces from you. Such an ability arises not only from a compassionate mind, but also from reasoning and patience. There's a tough one. Reasoning, you must be patient to apply reasoning. I guess, I don't know. That's something we have to bang around in our minds, But this is practical advice. You really don't have to be Buddhist to listen to this, to take it to heart. Saying that developing love and compassion is important and that we need these qualities does not mean that when faced with those who harm us, we should timidly not respond and do nothing. A little practical advice. In today's society where competition to be better than others is rife, there are many instances where we have to stubbornly stand our ground. Moreover, with a pure motivation of love and kindness and a standpoint of compassion, all for the benefit of others, we can, in practice, be hard-headed and at those times when it is necessary to be so. This is a perfectly good perspective. So this we really have to reason out in our minds and develop that technique instead of reaching for the brick, and throw the brick. It's tough. So.
Do you think that standing your ground is a particularly Buddhist perspective, though? Because I'm thinking right now of like the Lojong, and I think it's like the third saying in the Lojong that's, I will view others as higher than myself.
Yes, and all that.
Always see myself
Except when they're,
lowest among others.
yeah, except when you see them doing evil or something, I would think.
Sure. What about when he said, in a world where there's rife with competition and all this kind of stuff, I'm thinking of people like myself in a employee role at work, right?
Yeah,
You have
I've
to,
been there.
you have to represent, a particular view that might not be popular
Very tough.
within a crowd.
I know.
Do you do the Lojong thing, and do you just say, well, I don't know?
I don't know what to say on that, but because I've been in that position myself, just tell them this, tell them that, telecommunication. It's actually, so I would do it in a way that I would wink and nod and say, look, my boss told me to say this, and oh yeah, I got it. Okay. If you know the people, a lot of times we don't know in business who you're dealing with when you negotiate. Sometimes it's tough. I don't know. That takes a lot of skill, I think, and finesse. We could ask Nicky this. He's good at that. He acts like he doesn't, but he's pretty good, and he keeps his temper. He's got very good balance, and then he has had to stand his ground, especially in the monastery when he's building it. Oh, we don't want this, we don't want that, and he's telling you have to have this. You must have this. There's no choice. You have to make it earthquake proof. He was saying about building the monastery. All the opposition he got. What do you want to do? Die with the roof coming in on you? Why do we spend money on this? So that was a point where he had to exercise that. So I'm going to take him up on it. He'll be here, by the way, he's coming in the 21st, a week from tomorrow.
Wow.
So, and he'll be here now. So he's, be here several months, I guess. I don't know. But he's healthy. He got a little ill over there, but he got treated. So he's on his way now, and he's stopping to see his father in Rome. So if you're worrying about where's Nicky, place him on the map. That's where he is. So he's saying, you shouldn't bow down. What did they, Tibetans themselves, are stubbornly holding to their culture and everything else, but they had to run out. They couldn't stay there. They would have died. They had to. So mid-page 46. So where does love and compassion come from, and how are they produced and developed? Generally, as long as the human mind exists, the seed of compassion exists. He's saying it's inherent. I hate to use that word in the Prasangika world, but it's there. I don't know what else to say. Just by being born, the seed of compassion is present as part of our mind. Moreover, of all the types of mind, the compassionate mind is the most powerful. He's claiming that compassion is most powerful. We could have a big argument about that or bring in evidence, but it's something to think about. That's a bold statement. Compassion doesn't come on like power to us.
Compassion is the power that we think anger has.
Ooh, I like
Good one.
Compassion
Good
really
one.
is the power.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you very much.
the able baker himself has spoken. The yeast has risen properly. No, it's a big one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
And easy to remember. So it's helpful to people. Recognizing the existence of this fundamental potential of love and compassion, intrinsic, that's the word you should use, intrinsic within us all, and knowing how to develop it is of the greatest significance. If we think about this carefully, a heavy responsibility is placed upon our physical, verbal, and mental activities to use this compassion. Well, of course, this is Avalokiteshvara talking. He's carrying the brand. That was 46.
Since you pointed it out, Tony, and you said that you wanted to have discussions, I'm curious, do you think that there's a difference between inherent and intrinsic when it comes to the essential nature of the mind?
In English, the normal English parlance, I don't see any difference. But since it's become a hot word in Tibetan debates, etc., inherent, there's no inherent existence. No one has. So someone.
It's intrinsic existence, maybe.
You could say that. Also, it means the same thing, though. That's true.
They're synonyms, so they're both empty.
Meaning that it doesn't set itself up. That's what they're saying. Everything is in a dependent situation.
Even love.
Yes?
I mean, love necessarily has
Yeah.
to be dependent.
Everything's
right?
dependent.
Yep.
No object of compassion without a...
The designated mind. Everything has to be designated. There's your final meaning. The designating consciousness gives you dependency, whether you like it or not. So that's the subtlest dependency. There's causes and conditions, etc. And that's a tough one. Even to understand that deeply so that it's there, it's very hard. But I've heard something, so as soon as someone says inherent in the class, well, it's not inherent, somebody will pipe up and then go back to sleep. So you can order. Recognize the fundamental potential of love and compassion, intrinsic. So it's a heavy responsibility placed on our physical, verbal, and mental activity. The three doors, three places we create karma. Many people think that showing compassion to others will only benefit others and not themselves. This is greatly mistaken. The benefit brought to ourselves from having a good mind and helping others depends on many powerful conditions, some of which may not be conceivable to us, and the benefits may not be immediate. Nevertheless, the immediate benefit of choosing correctly between a good and bad attitude will fall on us. Of that, there is no doubt. So choosing the good will definitely, he's saying a positive action definitely is a positive result. That's one of the rock hard meanings of karma. Here's the bottom last few lines of page 46. Grace has a scorecard, so she's following. With compassion, we definitely accrue the conditions for the creation of an immediate and tangible happiness. Benefits of compassion, guys, put that in the column. An immediate and tangible happiness. Just as we receive love and affection, it is important that we give it to others. If we have compassion or manifest kindness, it is if we open the gateway of our mind. Ay, ay, ay. All narrow-minded thoughts of pursuing self-interest disappear. Well, it knocks them out. You can't have a self-interest and a non-self-interested mind. The dichotomy. The benefits of compassion, he's going to elaborate a little bit more on page 47. Compassion brings strength to our minds by lessening fear, increasing confidence, and so on. That's something to bang around. We don't think about that automatically, but compassion lessens fear, increases confidence, and so on. And he'll flesh this out now. Doubts and irrational thinking will decline. Fear is usually based on irrationality. Not always. As a result, in the company of others, the mind is relaxed. There are feelings of closeness, and we have the feeling that life has meaning and purpose. Well, we have to imbue ourselves with compassion first for that to really take root. But that's the blueprint he's giving us. Compassion gives us rest in times of great difficulty. Scientists these days have verified that taking responsibility for others is conducive to our own happiness. As much as we can have an attitude of working for others, that much will we enjoy a genuine happiness. A lot of this has to be ingrained over time with practice and refreshing. You just don't think, I agree with that, and it happens. That's why meditation is important. Familiarity, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, everybody be enlightened in 20 minutes. Here they come in, they hear it's great. I wish that was the case, but then we can charge. No. Anyway, the human mind thinks, what?
I can testify that you can absolutely transform a relationship with somebody that is initially terrifying and fearsome and
I'm talking about work again.
I am. I am. A particular boss I had
Ooh.
that just scared the crap out of everybody.
That's why it's called work.
Yeah. And I was trying to practice this kind of stuff, and I can say that it wasn't easy at first, but I kept trying to say, okay, this person's totally empty. They're not inherently showing
Wow.
kind of particular aspects.
You went that far.
I did, and
It worked.
I can say that we have a really, really good working relationship, and basically it's like you try to see that their aspect isn't what they actually want to be, I would say. And their actual nature, I mean, for the purpose of work, I mean, I can just say their values are aligned with mine insofar as we're trying to get a project done. And as long as you stay fixated on that, then we can communicate and then we can work together. And I would say, even deeper, if I could see this, that they're just another human being suffering the way I am.
Oh, yeah.
Then we can see ourselves in the same boat, and that's a really nice place to exist and coexist with people, I would say.
Do you think that your reactions changed him? Not just you getting used to him, but maybe he picked up something subliminally, maybe, or
I would say, you know, it, totally interdependent, right? So of course,
yeah,
the way I behave towards somebody
will affect his.
necessarily, eventually, I would say, it's not immediate.
Yeah,
I would say most of the time, not immediate. But you know, like, as long as you're genuine, as long as you continually show that you have the right motivations, and you see, you know, even when they don't seem to have the right motivations, if you like try to see the ways in which they have the right motivations, I think that transforms somebody for
you're
you.
very mature. It's true.
I think what you said about their aspect or presentation not being the way they would like it to be leaves them being incredibly unhappy with themselves.
Yeah.
And when my experience has been that people who are that unhappy with themselves don't treat themselves well, and then
No.
they might think they're treating other people well because they might be treating you better than you treat yourself. But it's really a sad position. Yeah.
And
Well,
again, it's not easy. I wouldn't say like, you know, they were warm and fuzzy, and nor were they warm and fuzzy after a week. You know, it was continually coming, showing up, not being afraid the way they made other people afraid, trying to recognize that their intention is deeper than what they're presenting. Again, the aspect idea.
you worked at it.
Superficial. I worked at it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people don't. They just swallow it and, go have a drink after work or something. That doesn't go anywhere. It ruins your liver and your wallet and everything else. But no, so this stuff works.
Yes, this is the only
This
stuff
is-
that works.
This is good news. Yeah. This works in the long term, and we're modifying our minds, which go on life after life after life. So consciousness can't die.
I could speak to another relationship I have
Please
in
do.
my life right now that I have cut off, and that just is festering, you know. So I'm not perfect, but like this boss relationship, I worked at that. I made that better. This other relationship, I cut it. The other person cut it, and there's just this seething black blech between us, and it will probably not go away until one of us dies.
There's daily contact with that person, or you have to work.
No.
Oh, so that'll change. You'd be surprised.
Maybe.
Fortunately, we forget. It's good to be absent-minded as you get older. It helps. Everything is just great.
I just take it as a good example of that does not work. I know
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It's pushing it under the rug and distracting yourself with something else. Is what most people do. Netflix or booze or pills. I don't know, whatever they do.
Whatever.
Ay, ay, ay. That's tiring and eventually boring.
There's a line in here that caught my
Please.
eye. It says at the bottom of the first paragraph on 47, scientists these days have verified that taking responsibility for others is conducive to our own happiness. I agree with that, but I think it's a matter of defining happiness, because I found that I was responsible for like the well-being of others, and it doesn't make you happy. It makes you feel maybe satisfied or content that you're with your life and what you're doing. But
I'll take satisfied and content.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you have to define the happiness a little. When they use happiness a lot.
They use it a lot, and then they use bliss.
Yeah, it's definitely not a blissful type of happiness to take responsibility.
Do you think there's a difference between contentment and happiness, and can you point to it?
Oh, I guess it depends on how people use the word. There are just so many different. It's like different flavors, chocolate or strawberry. I guess. I mean, there's the happiness of being at an amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting, but it's going to end soon, and then you're tired, and and then there's contentment with knowing you're living your life correctly, which is a more important type of happiness to me, but not to a lot of people. there's the happiness to some people that alcohol might bring. I mean,
That's
it isn't
that's really
I mean,
not though.
it's
That's
like
suffering.
It
It is
but,
suffering.
you know,
But
Yeah.
there's the,
a lot of
from a scientific standpoint, there's the, the neurons that are firing in your
Right.
brain that we interpret as happiness. And having a more evolved outlook lets you go, oh, this is the right thing to do for my life. And it generates
Oh, yeah.
this contentness that is deeper than the happiness of the amusement park. But it's kind of like the same neurons firing in your brain, so like, it's how we interpret that and say, like, yeah, this is great, I'm content. It's a different kind of, it's like the, puppy love, marriage love, and then 40 years
Carol.
later you're still together, and it's a different
Mhm.
feeling. But it's
Yeah.
just how we're
that's a
interpreting things.
good analogy. Yeah.
You know?
But I'm intrigued, but so you said it's like different flavors of ice cream, like strawberry versus chocolate or vanilla. And I'm wondering if like contentment is like low grade bliss and irritation is like low grade anger and frustration is like even lower grade anger. So like are these spectrums or are they different categories that we can truly
Yeah.
say are like boxed differently or
I don't know. They'd have to put someone in one of those NMRI machines, I guess. and
fMRI.
Have them feel
Yeah.
contentment and see.
Yeah.
You know,
Now
I don't know.
content.
If that's
Well, they
done.
do. This is Matthew
Yeah.
Ricard. They use the happiest
Yeah.
man in the
Yeah.
world. Hey, they stacked the deck. Should have put me in there. You got the really.
Mm-hmm.
The happiness they talk about is something that really wells up suddenly. You don't realize you have it. It's coming up deep from the depths, and there's certain what things that bothered you before don't.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you stressed out about. All of a sudden, why am I not stressing out about this? I must have figured something out deep down. The surface mind is only very surface of the story, like the top of the ocean. Could be jumpy like this. The bottom is always calm. So we have pistachios you could take heart. He's in the same business as you. He's a programmer. And,
Monkey business.
So where were we? Let's see. It's a big point, and it's well worth investigating because another indication that this stuff works. After a year or two, we read, and I don't stress about this or that anymore. What else is gonna? This is good. And it's not a flash of a
Right.
drug rush or anything like that. It's a confident feeling too.
I had a teacher who really emphasized contentment as being like one of the main goals. And he's like, every time you read happiness in one of these Buddhist texts, just think content. It's not over the top. You're not dancing for joy necessarily. And content is a very worthy goal to reach because if you don't want anything more than what you currently have, and you don't want to get rid of anything that you currently have right now, that's a pretty good, nice, stable place to be for meditation or other kinds of purposes.
Would you say it's an acceptance
Yeah.
of the
Radical
reality of your
acceptance.
situation? What?
Radical acceptance.
Yeah, because it's not that common.
No.
It might be the achievement of a bit of the achievement of equanimity,
Yeah.
the contentment. I'm not sure how that would relate in a Buddhist sense to bliss.
Well, bliss is a
an
technical
equi-
term in Tantra. It's
requirement.
another, and it's
Yeah,
a more
it's
subtle
not-
mind has bliss, not the surface mind we run around with.
Oh, okay.
So, and in Tantra, you're supposed to, what's the word? Engender these more subtler minds with different techniques of, breath this and the energy use, because energy and consciousness are always together, symbiotically. But that's tough, and you have a good grounding before you start to do that, and a good teacher with you, watching. And you must have bodhicitta, otherwise the technique won't work.
So bliss and equanimity would be on different
Equanimity
levels. They wouldn't
prepares
even
the
meet,
ground
maybe.
for it.
Oh,
It's like the foundational practices that have to be there. And then you have, with contentment, you have confidence in yourself that you don't know where it comes from, but it's the little, and I don't have deep contentment, or anything, but I have a little improvement over the years. It took a while, 50 years, like something like that. A little bit, not much, but it's well worth, when you get some benefit like that, it's well worth pursuing. You start to really study because hey, this is something well worth. I guess. The main topic is compassion and how it creates contentment, which is the opposite of the way the world thinks. Content when I grab everything for myself. Compassion says I'm working for others, and you become more content within reason. I mean, you don't. So let's see where we were. Much as have attitude working for others, all of our happiness depends upon others, even if we look at it from the pursuit of our own welfare alone. It is necessary to have a good relations with others. To that end, if we can maintain a genuine mind of friendliness in our social relationships, free from envy and malice, all right, that's a good one. And if we interact with honesty, free of deceit and pretense, don't go into politics, we will find a state of inner self-confidence and be able to enjoy good relationships. And you meet good teachers and you see how they operate with all kinds of people, a smoothness and everything. It's heartening. So it can be done. This is not, impossible. With an attitude of wanting to help others, mid-page of 47, no matter with whom we have a relationship, we will have respect for them and a cheerful and open mind. Cheerful and open mind. But it's not Pollyanna here because he backs it up with fact. If, on the contrary, we are jealous, proud, competitive, and so on, our minds become tense and we naturally become evasive and deceptive. And defensive, we might add, We cannot help but be secretive and clandestine, without a deed not matching inner thought. We'll get an announcement going, without a deed not matching inner thought. It's a big point. So we have to be aware of our inner thoughts, make them clean, and then bring it out.
It's like you're pretending.
Yeah.
Lying.
What?
Lying.
Lying. Court has this phrase.
And when you,
Guilty. Yeah.
and the reason to not lie is because it takes a lot of energy to catalog them and to remember
And you better keep creating the lie to reflect.
which lies told in which situation.
That's right.
And how does, and
That's why you need my lie app. It reminds you when you.
yeah.
Available at Amazon.
Siri, what did I say?
You lying sack.
Which line did I tell?
So many of them.
Which version?
That's right. What date?
Yeah, really.
But it's the truth. That's what people run around doing in business, etc. The lives of salesmen can now be exposed. Now the deed not matching inner thought. This results in an anxious mind. Well, here's the downside of that. This is why you should avoid it. Having to live with the fear of wondering when we are going to be exposed and shamed. Nothing is
But then the new thing, then we're in an age where there is no shame, which is really unfortunate.
for some people.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, I should qualify that. There are a lot of people who just have no shame.
Yes, one just became Attorney General elect, whatever. I know, we can go on, right? The world, you start looking at the world from the background of this, it's nuts. It's all, no use getting
The audience can hear the people talking.
Oh, okay.
me or the participants. I got a big mouth.
The people.
Oh, we need another mic in here.
I
The
know.
quiet people.
I'll get it done.
Mike, get over here. Mike's asleep. Yeah, so, all right. Yeah, don't be afraid. Speak your mind. Foul language is accepted at Tibet Center, but maybe the audience doesn't like it, so. But for emphasis, an anxious mind, nothing is transparent, and others no longer trust us. That's probably Eugene. Yes, it is. Eugene, when you lie and everything,
Which new app are you making?
yeah, we're starting a lie app.
Yeah, My Lies.
My lies. Available at Amazon. Sit down, have a seat.
I'm confused.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You know, My Lies with version control.
I'm going to point the mic towards them because I got a big mouth and they are still polite. How's that? You hear me, Darren?
Yeah, you're fine. It's
Okay, yeah, because I just pointed the mic towards the audience,
Yeah,
the huge audience we have here. It's like a Taylor Swift concert here.
Like never before.
Yes, for example, some national leaders, when giving press conferences, will only talk and refuse to take questions. That's right out of today's headlines. This shows that such people are not straightforward. I'm shocked. They are devious with secretive and clandestine ways. Therefore, they are apprehensive and do not have the confidence to be forthright by giving truthful answers to searching questions. Policies designed to bring esteem to oneself in reality only bring suffering.
Amen.
Even within a single household, if the family members live in an anxious atmosphere where there is no mutual trust, each wary of the other, and only irrational attitudes, then even with abundant wealth, there will be no joy. That's a ton of bricks. If there is trust, then even with only the most basic food and clothing, it is possible to enjoy a happy life in an atmosphere of confidence. Such trust will not be found through money, deceit, power, might, force, and so on, but only through the clear expression of a sincere concern for the welfare of others and a respect for their rights.
Yep.
That's his political doctrine right there. Sayings of Chairman Dalai Lama. Let's see what this is 5 of? One more paragraph or two. In a community of harmonious friends endowed with natural and genuine trust, you can live in an atmosphere of peace and joy. You are free from unhappiness such as fear and anxiety. You can dwell in peace, possessed of the ability to, and courage to face difficulties when they arise. So he knows difficulties. It's the nature of the samsaric beast. So they will arise. No, it's about time. So anyway, well, one more thing. Let's squeeze in more. Not only in times of difficulty and suffering, but at all times, having someone you can turn to and who will nurture you with love and affection is of great help, whereas those who are angry and thoughtless bring nothing but detriment. Such a self-evident truth is a clear indication of the need to have love and affection for people. Now, for religious people, Buddhists, Lamas would always say, trust in the three jewels. But this book is written to not necessarily Buddhists. So he's just saying the value of being sincere and truthful creates the right atmosphere for a pleasant life. So we'll continue on with this thing. So next week I'll be here, and then Nikki will come the week after. He arrives the 21st, which is Thursday, a week from tomorrow. And then he'll reside here for a while. And I told you Marianne is scheduled to be here, none in residence in September of 25. So that's good. You met her before, right?
3 times.
Yeah, she's a character. Darren, any names?
Is
there a copy there?
Of course.
You have a copy?
Maybe,
We're waiting on Mr. Smith. Jane sent in somebody.
Rhonda's Uncle Ram,
Radha's Uncle Ram.
and, hold on, Jane's got me first.
And as Richard Wilson said, the country also.
Oh my God.
Don't worry about it. We have the answers right here, and they're free.
Peter Barrett,
Peter Barrett,
B-A-R-R-A-T-T.
B-A-R-R-A-T-T, Barrett. Okay. Sutra Recollection of Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those along with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So the final element in our presentation is the prayer for a swift return, for the swift return of Ratsuchungla Rinpoche, whose pictures behind me, written by His Holiness Dalai Lama. It's on the website in the FAQ section. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes. Guru Lozang Tuguang Doji Cham. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of a form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you, till cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tenpe. Magnificent truth of the three precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So our next activity will be 1 o'clock Saturday here in the parsonage in South Orange, New Jersey. The instructions and the address are on our website. The White Terrace Sadhana at 1 o'clock, as we do. Refreshments will be served. The cat will be in attendance. And then after that, we have Monday night and the following Wednesday night. We're on the Wednesday schedule, which we've been in since the beginning of time. Not really, but a while. It's too hard to do 2 nights in a row. In other words, it's rough. So thank you very much for your patience. Big love to all of you.